Hello everyone and welcome to episode 15 of Arrowhead Junction, a City Skylines collaboration project between Fresh Popcorn, Flux Trends, and yours truly, Streaks Toaster. In this episode, we're going to be continuing the development of the massive rail yard that I started, 3 weeks ago. And I'm sure you're dying to see how that comes out because obviously Flux and Fresh have been focusing mostly on decorating this beautiful city of Arrowhead Village. I was just on Skype with Flux right before he started working on this particular side of the city, this storage facility. We're trying to figure out, what the best way was to get the industrial buildings that look very, very similar to not be so repetitive, and we figured out that a storage unit was a good idea. So I'm looking at this for the first time, by the way. I haven't watched either of Flux's or Fresh Popcorn's video at this point. I'm just amazed. I'm really, really amazed by the work he has done here. And likewise, Fresh Popcorn with his competing rail yard, by the way, which actually, no, I'm really, really excited about how this looks because the decoration that he put in will be a great source of inspiration for the big one that I'm going to be working on in this episode. So I'm going to steal some ideas from there. But before I do any of that, I'm just going to go ahead into the live mode and to show you the city of Arrowhead Village. And there's a little change that I want to make here before I do anything else. And I just noticed that we have two Arby's. I don't think we need two Arby's. I don't think anyone needs two Arby's. Any city doesn't. Yeah, no city needs two Arby's, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This is a little bit of a joke in reference to Jon Stewart, if you ever watched the Daily Show. In any case, I know there was a lot of manual work done here, so I really feel bad, but I think I need to get rid of one of these harvests. And this is the first time I haven't, gotten permission to delete something that someone else did. I'm sure they will agree that two Arby's is probably not a good idea, so I'm going to get rid of this one real quick, because, honestly, this one is a little bit more detailed, so I really don't want to mess up with that. This one only has a fence, and I think it could pretty much house a McDonald's. So let's see if we can find one. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. We put the McDonald's in other places. We actually have two of them. So let's go again for the In-N-Out. Pretty much how we did it in in my first episode, which was episode 3. I think it's Gula's In-N-Out, so I'll search like that instead. Should be one of these, Starbucks and Taco Bell and In-N-Out. All right, perfect. So we need to zone this 3x3 commercial or low density commercial. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. There we go. I think it will totally fit the area. Fantastic. Let's see. Let's go speed up the simulation, see how it grows. It's actually not too bad. Slow things down. I want to lock it in place just so that something else doesn't grow. There's a bit of a gap here and the fence kind of works. There's obviously not going to be a drive-through, but I am okay with that. All that needs to be done here is just add a bit more concrete. And honestly, the details that are already there, I'm actually kind of okay with. If anything, I'll just add a few more tables right here in the back. So let's search for a table. Usually In-N-Out has these kinds of tables, so I want to try. Yeah, there we go. These tables right here. Maybe do 3 in a row like this. Very, very simple. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of this color. Let's try to keep them all uniform. I have no control of these ones, so luckily these two are light blue, so I guess we'll just look for another light blue table. Come on, I don't want to keep putting down. Is this light blue? This is light blue. Perfect. So we're just going to put one over there. And that should be that. Should probably pause the simulation and get a slightly better frame rate here. Already Arrowhead Village is getting kind of crazy in terms of performance. So I'm going to stay away from this area as much as I can, even though I'm going to be working right on the other side of the river. There was one more thing that Fresh Popcorn asked me to work on, and this is adding some lights into this yard, because right now, let's actually take a look at at nighttime here. We only have a few spots that are lit up at night, and he specifically asked me to add some airport lights to sort of highlight the main area of the rail yard. So let's figure it out how we can best achieve that. So I think the right position for this will be one somewhere around here, another one sort of on the same line, like at least equidistant from this train track, and finally third one. Actually, you know what? Maybe just just shy of the road right there could work. So yeah, I think the spacing is right. I also want another one in this sort of critical areas, obviously not in between the power lines, but maybe one right here by this I guess it's a police station or security guard, and finally one by this building, which also serves as just lights up this area where all the tracks meet, which I think will be a safety improvement. So we have that lit up. We don't have to add lights throughout the thing. Just on some key spots is more than enough. However, I do want to add a few more. So let me just scroll through some of these lights. So for example here, just maybe you want to clip this light right just flushed against the elevated tracks, and this also lights up the train tracks crossing the road. I do want some like really bright yellow ones too. I think those really add a lot of the ambience of this very industrial centric area. And let's see, where can we fit one of these that actually makes sense? I think lighting up the entrance to these two substations could work. I mean, I don't want to like make a stadium out of it in terms of like adding lights. Just like a few specific critical spots it's all I need. And honestly, I think that's it. I mean, we have the main area pretty much lit up, which is good, and then some like key spots for good measure. I'm really happy. Let's take a look at this and see how it looks daytime. Just close all these menus. Yeah, man. I think this totally works. Let's just turn around here, take a look at. I always like looking at these things from like this shaded area, and more than the bright spots. I think it just gives it a lot more character when looking at it on the screens. Also, I get a way better frame rate looking on this towards this side where there's not a whole lot. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, let's start working on the main rail yard, and I think since it's gonna be pretty decoration heavy process, I think it's probably makes sense to just jump into a time lapse and see what we can come up with. So the first thing that I want to be working on here is the roads that will connect the different areas of this rail yard. And if you remember from the previous episode that I did, I went to Barstow, got a lot of footage, got a lot of ideas, got a lot of photos, and also spent a lot of time on Google Maps for the places that were kind of hard to reach when I was there. And one thing that caught my attention is that all the roads that connect to different areas of the rail yard are pretty much concrete. They're not like the dark asphalt like we have, like the national roads or all those. They do have asphalt where, like on the entrance roads. So I'm going to try to replicate that design. But for the rest, I'm just going with these concrete roads. In some areas, I'm actually going with a road just across the train tracks. And in others, I'm actually generating the node or the connection. And the reason why I'm doing this in areas and some others, first of all, when you just drag a concrete road across train tracks, they look great. Like they blend in so well. And since I don't expect a lot of traffic or a lot of truck traffic in some of these internal roads, as well as train traffic in some of these train tracks, I figured it would be nice to not have the railroad crossing. I can't even English today. It's like 2 a.m. at the time of this recording. You have to apologize for that. I'm still pretty awake. Don't get me wrong, but my brain is kind of shutting off right now. And this is the last time, the last few minutes that I have to record this commentary right before my trip. Let me change topics for a moment. What I'm doing here is just creating the fences or to mark the perimeter of the rail yard because it's obviously private property. Security doesn't seem to be that big of a deal in this area, so you can just pretty much walk by or just drive into the place. Obviously, you're not supposed to, because again, it's private property. They have security, so if they see you there, they're probably gonna ask you politely to, go away. Which I was just thinking before I recorded this commentary that like how many times has someone maybe stolen a train, right? Like someone breaking into this places and just like stealing, I don't know, like a locomotive or just a whole formation, like a whole group of train cars. I don't know. I feel like, statistically speaking, that must have happened. I feel like it probably never happens, or it happened like once or twice. And also it's kind of hard to get away to because, you're on a train track, right? So I guess, they will catch you pretty fast, I guess. Unless you just put a train car into a truck or something like that. That way, I guess you have a few more options, but still you're limited by the huge size of these things and the weight. I'm sure that there will be a comment right now saying, no, this is like a pretty common thing. Like every 5 days, one of our trains gets stolen and we don't know where they are. Like, sure. Crazy things happen in the world, but I'm gonna assume that it's not that often. In any case, I'm just extending some of these roads here, focusing back on what we're building instead of just going on a weird tangent. I'm also, one thing I noticed is they pretty much cut through, like they just go on a straight line to go wherever they want to go. So you'll see me just create like a few like slips lane like that one all over the place, and later on during this time lapse I'm going to be adding a coat of surface painter pretty much all over the place. So yeah, one thing I noticed is that they just go across even off-roading sometimes, all these like maintenance trucks, and they just form new roads. So I'm going to try to replicate that design a little bit. And the spacing for these train tracks is wide enough that it should accommodate the passing of trucks or maintenance vans. But I also want, the game doesn't go off-roading, so I wanted to at least have the middle segment here just have a concrete road where cars can actually drive through, and hopefully see some movement in the middle of the rail yard. Many of the roads that I'm putting down here have or serve, or I hope they serve that purpose. Just having cars and trucks drive by and hopefully just make the whole thing look a little bit alive. Another shortcut there. Let's see if I'm just going with a curve here for good measure, but I'm gonna go crazy with surface painter in just a moment. And this is pretty much what I'm doing here. I was gonna say something, but I remember now. So what I was saying before about the having roads overlap the train tracks and having other roads just create intersections is, again, for the most part, I wanted, if you look at reference photos, most roads don't have, the barrier and the signs for railroad crossings. They just go across. So in this build, most roads will just go across train tracks. I just move it to elevate it a little bit so that the textures wouldn't fight and get all that flickery effect. But in others, I decided to specifically create railroad crossings so that we can get some detail. And because since this is such a huge area, you do want a little bit of detail here and there. Over here, just going crazy with the surface painter. Surface painter pretty much crashed at some point and I lost like 2 hours of work. This specific segment I think was safe, but like the other two rail yards, as I was decorating them, I just lost all of that. And a little bit of other fine tuning of that I did on other areas of this construction. It almost looks, if you look at it from above, this what I'm doing here with surface painter looks like a terrible disease is taking over the rail yard, like a skin condition almost. It's really funny. But it will all look great once the majority of the details are added. So just so you know, in this episode, I'm going to be leaving this construction again somewhat undetailed, given the time that I have, and given the time that both Flux and Fresh have. They have pretty much 1 month each to work on Arrowhead Junction. By the way, parenthesis, I'm just going a little bit crazy here with the ore texture. It really adds like a hint, like a touch of color that makes it a little bit more contrast against the grass, I guess. The default grass that we have pretty much throughout the map. So I decided to apply that in some areas. And also here, by the way, I'm just going crazy with the Sam's version of cinematic camera extended, which allows you to run cinematics as you record, as you play, actually. And it's a little bit tricky, but I'm getting the hang of it. I did like one clip for the previous episode. You might have noticed that. But I'm also, taking advantage of Surface Painter. This really works when you don't want to be working on precise things. Like if you want to lay down roads, doing a cinematic as the camera moves, it's really difficult. I tried it. I do not recommend it. Here, by the way, I just converted some segments of road to dirt, and I was just trying to cover it with a little bit of Surface Painter. Unfortunately, those roads got lost due to Surface Painter failing, but I might actually bring them back because I really like the look of that. But, unfortunately, sometimes you had to rebuild things. I'm pretty used to now. Every time I load City Skylines, I know there's going to be a lot of debugging. That it just happens every single time. There's really no other way around it. Rico was failing, Move It was failing. I still don't know what's going on, but at the time of this recording, hopefully by the time I come back from my 2-month trip, it will be fine. But I even talked to Fresh Popcorn, and he has no issues on his computer. I mean, he hasn't specifically tested Arrowhead Junction. He tested San Bernardo, but it's still, yeah. I mean, knock on wood that things will be fine. Here, by the way, you might be wondering why does it look all super orange. The reason is when I reloaded the save game, I forgot to change the LUT. They look very, very similar, especially when you load the map for the first time. I'm also working on a really, really crappy Samsung 4K monitor, like really crappy. The color accuracy of this monitor is just abysmal. It's the worst. It's really the worst. So sometimes the colors are really difficult to discern using this monitor. That's why it took me a few minutes to realize that I was using the wrong LUT. So I do apologize for this very orange footage. I am indeed going to change it in just a minute or two, maybe less, depending on how fast time-lapse works. But what I'm doing here is just laying down some of the first buildings, and this one in particular will be the main sort of warehouse for the Locomotive repair shop. So all those tracks that are on the corner, they come from the big loop that's on the left of the screen at this point, if I don't keep changing it. And it's just going to house a lot of train engines and a big structure that I'm going to go into detail actually right now. I was going to say in a minute, but I'm literally doing it right now. If you look at, if you go to the Barstow Google Maps photos, you'll see that they have an outdoor workshop yard where there seems to be this huge, there's a huge structure. The resolution of these photos are not great, so I was trying to guess how it looked. I even looked or searched for images for similar yards in other parts of the world. I couldn't find the very specific pattern that looked like the one in Barstow, but I'm going with it, and I think I did a pretty decent job at it. So you can see I'm using these oil pipes, this modular oil pipes that just came out on the Steam Workshop. I mean, for you, will be like, oh, dude, this came out 2 months ago. Well, yeah, I get it. But for me, it's just brand new. And they look amazing. There's so much detail in there. And I just integrated them as much as I could. I'm going to put down some some of the other pipes that we've been using for forever, specifically this one that jumps, the one that you can use to jump over roads. But I did clip them against each other, just enough that the pipes wouldn't, come out on the other side, and extend them parallel to the train tracks as much as I could. It's usually a good idea to use the train tracks as a reference point. And by the way, I'm about to do something quite amazing. So pay attention to the cargo docks that I put on the corner in the back, the ones that have like the super shiny containers, those one in the back. So I got sick of those, and I decided to open it up in the asset editors and get rid of all the props except the ones on the top platform. I actually kind of like those. I didn't realize that you can do this. I literally opened it up, deleted what I didn't want, and created a new version that actually says modified by Strict Toaster. Then went back in game, just deleted the old ones, and put my version of things. I'm not going to publish this in the Steam Workshop, by the way. This is just for my personal use. I obviously have to share this with Flex. I should probably start calling them Flex instead of Flux and Fresh. So I'm going to share this with Flex, and it's just a file that we'll use locally, but at least now you can do that if you're not happy. I mean, this happens to me all the time. I just get like this cool asset. Like, for example, when I was working on Cedar Valley, I put down the air traffic controller tower, and it has a freaking fence around it. Like, my airport already has a fence. I don't need like a fence, like a 2x2 fence around it. I know some of these assets, in fact, most of these assets are designed for people who just plop things and really don't do a whole lot of decoration or detailing. So I get that. I have a YouTube channel and I want to complain, man. Whatever. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, I'm mirroring this station. This station looks great, by the way. I'm going to go into detail about who made this station and what the name is at the end of this episode. But I just mirrored it, and I used that technique that I keep using. I've been using this technique since the SimCity days. It actually works for both games. It's really, really interesting. So if you want to have the perfect spacing between the train station, I'm sure those of you who have been following me for a while already heard this story many, many times. But if you want the perfect spacing for the train station, what you do is you put it down against the road, because they usually want to be aligned against the road. And on both ends of the train tracks, you just drag a road on both ends. Then delete the train station, connect those two road segments together. So now you have one single road, and then put your train station against that road that you just created. So now the two remaining ends of the train tracks pretty much are perfectly spaced, and pretty much ready to go. Over here, let me explain what I'm doing. I just created, there seems to be like an outer smaller warehouse on the side of the big warehouse for the locomotive repair yard. So I was trying to come up with I found that asset that I think I even used it in Cedar Valley a long time ago. So you just put it over the train tracks, because it's a free ploppable, and it has an opening on one end and a closed door on the other. So I pretty much rotated them so that you have two open doors on each side, and that way I could just drag a whole train segment through it. And here I found this really cool water tower. It's a wooden water tower, and I got rid of the metal one because, I mean, don't get me wrong, the metal one looks great, but not if it's sitting right next to a wooden one. And obviously I didn't want two water towers. I felt like that was a bit overkill, so I decided to get rid of the second one. And here, this station, I'm just using the cargo docks that I just edited. And by the way, this one that I'm plopping right now, I also edited, because they are by the same author, and they also have the same ugly containers. So I got rid of those as well. So now I have two versions of custom assets from modifying other people's assets. Man, it's so liberating knowing that. Really, you need to try it. I've also have a cluster of, and this is something that I created for myself, and I already shared it with Fresh Popcorn, who started using them a while back. It's just a cluster of the Shady Bush by Mr. Mason, and since, I mean, the single bush, it's great, but it's sometimes if you want to cover a large area, it's kind of hard. So I created my own cluster, and I shared with them locally, with them being what was the name that I said? The flex. I share it with a flex, and it's just so much easier to decorate that way instead of just putting one by one. Also, it doesn't impact your tree count, so that's helpful. Even though we just hit the tree count when I was recording this episode in Arrowhead and had to add the unlimited trees mod for the remaining of the episode, and I'm guessing for the remaining of the series. Now, you see me here adding a huge number of locomotives, almost an unrealistic number of locomotives. But when I was looking at reference photos, I noticed that they actually have a lot of these just sitting right next to each other. So yeah, when you're trying to make things look realistic sometimes in this game, the being like super accurate about it sometimes make it look not so realistic, which is kind of an interesting concept, almost like an oxymoron, if you will. By the way, changing subjects completely, over here I'm just starting to light up the place, and I'm going for the same airport lights that I did on the railer that it wasn't Flux. It was Fresh Popcorn who created it at the beginning of the episode. Just went for the same design. However, on this one's, I'm going to end up adding a few barrels, these traffic barrels on each side, just for good measure. There you go. That's what I meant. And by the way, that shot at night just looks great. Like now the middle of the desert has this like almost runway-like patterns in the middle of the desert. They just look lovely. I'm so excited. And now here, finally, it's time to put down some train props. Those green ones, by the way, the ones I just put down are the Cedar Valley Northern ones. By the way, all these train cars were created by B. Squigglehausen, and he's super talented. He was a huge help creating this rail yard. He also aided Fresh Popcorn quite a bit when he created his. So it's always nice having someone who knows their stuff. One Skype call away. And here, I mean, in terms of the actual design, again, I mentioned this in the previous episode. I was just trying to break the patterns a little bit. So if you look at aerial photos of rail yards, they pretty much look like Christmas trees. Most of the cars that they have, they're all like different colors, very different colors. So just try to mix and match things, even though they have different widths. So when you have a long segment of train cars and you just delete the middle one, you have to like do a lot of work to reaccommodate them simply because, well, they were just different widths. And I was just trying to play out with the idea of colors, but thankfully, B. Squigglehausen provided the same model in multiple colors. In fact, when you put down, for example, these tankers, the dark tankers, they actually spawn in like different shades of rust, which is really, really cool. I highly recommend you get these assets that he created. Again, they're amazing. They're really, really amazing. All right, we're approaching the end of this time lapse, so I'm gonna just leave you with some music, and I'll just resume in just a second. And as we slow things down, I just want to take a moment here to show you in detail some of the things that we're just working on during the time lapse. And let me just zoom out here. By the way, that screen flashing thing that you may be seeing right now, it's caused by time warp. Right now, as I'm recording this, there's a massive failure of many mods. Rico stopped working. Time warp is having issues. Surface Painter failed during the recording of the time lapse, and Move It also failed. Like there must be some update of the game that's just breaking everything. And I didn't think the flashing would be so bad to record this last segment of the video, so I do apologize for that. But in any case, here it is, the rail yard. By the way, this is by no means done. There's so much work that I personally want to keep doing here, and I also know that Fresh and Flux want to also tackle a bit of the activities regarding adding more details here. So let me just walk you through the different segments and just sort of the thought process behind them. Here, I just laid down many train cars, and I try to keep them somewhat categorized. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I thought, or I may have noticed, that this is what they actually do in Barstow and other rail layers, where they keep certain tracks with the same type of cars, specifically the ones that are related to holding liquids. So all these two tracks here are basically for tanker cars, and then we have this branch here for oil and I'm guessing grain. Then we have a whole bunch of box cars and container cars, and these things that just have pipes, I guess. In any case, I just tried to like randomize some of these designs a little bit so it doesn't look uniform. I mean, usually they just make a whole train formation out of many different cars, so that's kind of the look that I was trying to achieve here, and I'm pretty happy with how it turns out. You may notice during the time lapse that I converted some of the single tracks into double tracks, and I did that because I wanted this look a little bit more, just having a bit more density in between the tracks, even though you want enough spacing in between each row for cars or vans to like drive by to do maintenance or connect the different train cars. Not on the hump here though. We'll get to that in a moment. I think I might have said that in the previous episode, but I don't know. Just converted a few of the single tracks to two tracks. Really happy with how they came out. And here comes another freight train with the vehicle effects mod, which has custom sounds. I love the horns. The horns are amazing. They sound super good. Okay, talking about the Locomotive repair shop. I know I'm mixing a huge level of different elements here to achieve sort of the certain look. Looking from Google Maps reference photos, there just seems to be like this metal scaffolding around the Locomotive repair yard. And there are indeed these many locomotives just on one track, one sitting one right after the other. So it doesn't look, it looks a little bit unrealistic, but it also looks unrealistic in real life. So, I mean, you always battle that concept when you're trying to apply different things from real life into city skylines. They may not look realistic, but it certainly is. And let me just zoom in here so I can show you. By the way, clearance here, you can actually maybe see it here. It's perfect. It barely fits this train engine here, so I was so excited. I'm sure these pipes are designed for that. There seems to be a bit of a pillar here on the rail. I think I already sent the save to Flux. I'm sure he will fix it, or maybe Fresh will fix it. If not, I'll take care of it in 3 weeks. Trust me. I'm not gonna leave that like that. But I don't know. I just thought this looked really nice using these pipe bridges, and then using all these oil the oil pipe kits. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, they just came out in the Steam Workshop as I was recording this episode. So by the time you actually watch this video, it will be 2 months ago. I'm sure you can still find it. And then over here, I just extended a few warehouses to this side and try to like rotate them. So on both ends, you see no doors, but if you actually get in, there's actually a door there. So the whole point of this is that from far away, you will just see this thing and see the trains kind of coming in, especially this one right here, that it's, just pretty much going or cutting across these tiny little warehouses. One thing I did learn from watching or looking at reference photos is that there's usually no train cars on the tracks dedicated for locomotive yards or repair shops. And I think the reason why I still did this is because I wanted to have a segment or a train formation that was a little bit curved, so it looks like, it pretty much looks like a snake. I really wanted to achieve that effect. So in my mind, the justification for this is that these are like testing train cars where they just add in water and they just simulate extra weight. So they test the proper, the proper functionality, I guess, or just they just make sure that the train or the locomotives work fine, hauling all these weight. Here on the empty container racks, I'm sure they would put in some concrete blocks or something to simulate extra weight, even though these are already pretty heavy. But I don't know. That was kind of my train of thought here. These are not connected. These ones are. So maybe they're testing this thing right now. Obviously right now it's stopped, so they maybe went to lunch. But whatever. I'm getting like really off topic here. Let's move on to this side where we have the mandatory tanks, which I'm sure they hold all the diesel that's required for all the train engines. And obviously there's some piping going on connecting the different tanks. I'm not going to get into detail about that because I've done pipes extensively on this water reclamation plan project a while back. So I also added these just random loading bay here, which I know you saw during the time lapse that I went ahead and just made changes to this because the original author of these assets just added the ugly colorful containers that I really hate, the vanilla containers. So I just went ahead and just got rid of them almost immediately, and I'm using my own versions of this. By the way, the model itself is beautiful, especially this one. It's just a slab of concrete with a ramp. It's perfect. That's literally all I want. I just want to add all my own details. In fact, this is still pretty barren. I know we're gonna come back to this and add a few more things for sure. Now, coming over here to the hump yard, not all that much has changed here, except maybe this decoration that I added here, mostly to just hide the imperfections of the terrain. And it was somewhere around here where I hit the tree limit, so now we have the unlimited trees mod, which hopefully will make the decoration activities going forward much easier. And as we go down, the only difference here is the surface painted for all these tracks. And as you can see here, these are way more compact than the ones from the other yard. And this is kind of what I was trying to say. Hump yards usually have much more compact layout, and because I think they're just getting pushed to like the next one where they will do the loading or whatever it is, or the sorting, I guess. This is a big classification yard in general, so I think that's the main activity here. I'm sure many of you are already commenting that are like experts in this and can like really teach me how this works. But and here, this still feels like a little bit strange, even though there's enough clearance on both tracks so to drive by in between these poles. But I figured maybe we need to find a better solution for this. I do like how it looks. I mean, this wooden poles make everything look super industrial, which I love. And I also added the airport lights with the little, I'm gonna call this the flux touch, with the barrels on each side, just to like for security measures so that people just don't drive into the light poles. And finally, this empty yard right here, I decided to specifically leave it empty because even though it's actually really easy to fill it with trains using Propline tool, it's also a lot of fun. So I figured that Fresh and Flux will have a kick of adding more train cars here, and I just decided to leave that empty for them. In fact, it's just as you zoom out and you see all these like colorful lines kind of coming in, especially from like far away, it looks like a Christmas tree. It's just beautiful. I love it, and I think they will like it too. Now, if we zoom here, you can see these two gorgeous stations, and for some reason cars are like driving. I think this station has like 2 exits on each side. I don't know if I can ever get rid of that, so ignore these trucks for now. I'm sure we can figure something out. But these are duplicated stations on each side. These are the Kansas City Freight House, and they're created by someone who goes by the name of Lightfooted, who also made the Stewart Hall Lofts that you see here, which is a gorgeous building. It's right in the downtown area of Arrowhead Village. Also, by the way, I love this thing that I think this was Flogs who made this corner right here leading into the chevron. That came out perfect. I love it. In any case, going back here, as you can see, we have 2 platforms on each, and I also use the platform that I customized and clipped it through the buildings so that I could extend them a little bit further, and they kind of meet somewhere around here, and pretty much the same on the other side. And I just decided to extend it a bit further on the other side of the road by plopping down these two cargo docks with the whatever this is, this little warehouse. And also there's just a parked formation in the middle track, which I'm sure it's, there's actually two formations, because this one doesn't have a locomotive. I did that on purpose, just, it's pretty much parked here, maybe waiting for a signal, or just waiting for whoever's riding it or driving it to, finish going to the bathroom or something like that. In any case, I think I'm pretty much done with this episode. There's going to be a lot of details that both Flux and Fresh will be adding to this. They actually have 1 month each to work on this project, because this is the last episode before my big trip. So by the time this episode airs, I guess I'll be like a week later, I'll just be back already. So it's kind of perfect timing ish, and just can't wait. I think they already told me that they're going to make a huge amount of progress in the next couple of episodes, since they have so much time to record them. So I really can't wait to see that, and also just can't wait to get my hands back on this map and start working, for you 3 weeks from now. But I think that does it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please give this video a like. That's very much appreciated. And also, if you're new to the channel, please consider clicking that big red button that says subscribe if you haven't already. There's a link in the description to the full playlist in case you might have missed an episode. And the next episode will be on Flux's channel, youtube.com/FluxTrans. Make sure you subscribe to him. The one after will be on a Fresh Popcorn's channel, youtube.com/FreshPopcorn. All of those links are in the description. And finally, if you want to stay up to date with everything I do and just look at teasers before videos air or everything, just make sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/StrictToaster. That's it. That's all I have to say for now. I want to thank you all for watching, and really hope to see you on the next one.